All right, we're going to go ahead and get started today. Thank you all for coming and attending the Introduction to Dynamics CRM Online Customization and Configuration webinar. Our presenter today, Britta Scampton, is an MVP with Microsoft, and she works for MacGyver. I just drew a blank. MacGyver CRM. Sorry. Yes. And thank you all so much for waiting. We are just like to go ahead and briefly introduce you to Opsgility. We're the global leader in Microsoft Cloud readiness, and we offer the following services. We do some self-paced online training. We do instructor-led training, advisory services, and the cloud sandbox. And basically with our self-paced online on-demand classes, they're focused on Microsoft Azure, Office 365, Dynamics CRM, and we also have classes that are Microsoft certification exam preparations. Those also can be found in instructor-led training if you want in a real live instructor, and we can do these on-site or virtual. We also do a small advisory services that are designed to augment your team by allowing you to rent one of our cloud subject matter experts. This is a great solution if you need like a second advice or full proof of concept to test out an idea in Azure. And then finally, our newest offering is actually this Opsgility Cloud Sandbox. The Cloud Sandbox gives you the ability to provide controlled access to cloud for different purposes like testing, development, or even training for an organization of any size, really. So that's one of our newest, and we are rolling that out I think we are finalizing it this week, and it'll be available very, very soon. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much, Britta, for joining us today, and I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me. I am so excited to be here. My name is Ashley. I'm going to take the presenter view and start showing my slides. Just a moment. Ashley, are you able to see my screen just fine?
Yes, it just came up.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited to be here to talk about customizing and configuring CRM. It is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. And first, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Britta Scampton, as Ashley said, and I've kind of done a lot of different jobs in the CRM community. I got into CRM the way I found a lot of people do, and that's by accident. I think a lot of people were just minding our own business and a job, and then we get a CRM project dumped in our lap, and before we know it, we're learning as fast as we can how to properly set up and configure and customize our CRM to make the best of it. And that was my story as well. So I went from doing that, I was a systems administrator in a financial services company, and then went on to be a consultant, which is what I do now. And I have a fun balance of training for companies like Opsgility and advising clients on where to take their CRM. And then I also do some work with Microsoft partners on bigger projects, which is also a lot of fun. What I'd like to open the opportunity today is if you have any questions, please raise your hand on the GoToWebinar or leave a question for Ashley and she'll get a hold of me. And we'd love to answer those questions live as you have them. So if anything I say sparks a question, please feel free to raise your hand and get that question answered. So the first thing I want to talk about is the opportunity for really why it's worth understanding these kinds of concepts. I think there's often a misconception that this information is only worth it for consultants or maybe billable resources to learn how to customize and configure CRM, and I would disagree with that statement. I think there is so much value in an organization that has Microsoft Dynamics CRM or Dynamics 365 having internal resources that are knowledgeable. There's a lot of benefits to that. If you're new to CRM, you'll find very quickly that CRM is much bigger than what you're using it for, and that's consistently what my clients find. They bring CRM on maybe for sales and then come to find that there's a lot more they could be doing in their customer service department, or there's more they could be doing with productivity to manage the flow of tasks and assignments and appointments. Maybe they want to be more mobile of a workforce than they are today. These are all things that you can do with Dynamics, but if you only used a small slice of it, you might not be aware of what you're missing out on. I also find the same thing with organizations that have had CRM for years, and they're really stable in their CRM, it works well for them. Maybe they worked with a partner initially and got where they expected to go, but now they're thinking maybe it's time to embrace more of the technology and do more. And so maybe they're looking to upgrade, or maybe you're one of those people that already has upgraded and you're noticing that so much has changed and there's so much more potential. And you want to make sure that you get to take advantage of that. It's so good to have a well-rounded knowledge of what CRM can do so that you're not leaving money on the table. Because if you're missing out on these whole huge areas of CRM that you could be using, that you're already paying for with your license, and just need a little bit of time to be set up properly, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So what I want to do today is walk you through some areas, and these are covered between mostly in the customization and configuration class offered at Optagility, and then I'll have a couple slides at the end from additional topics that are covered in our Getting Started with CRM course as well. And these are all topics that there are things that an organization should definitely at least know are out there, and in most cases I think you should have someone internally who knows how to do these things, knows how to set up what you need, knows how to really train other users and capitalize on these great tools. So let's get started. Actually, what I do real quick is just to point out the classes I was just speaking of. These are the classes that these slides come from. So the majority of what we'll be talking about today is offered in this Dynamics CRM Online Customization and Configuration class, which is offered both on demand and in an instructor-led fashion. And then we also have the Getting Started with Dynamics CRM course. And then if you are more technical and you're looking for a course for developers, Mitch Millam has a fantastic course on really looking at Dynamics CRM from that custom code perspective instead of just the out-of-the-box perspective, which is what my classes cover. And the customization and configuration class is coming up in December 12th through the 14th. We'll be offering it virtually, but live. So I'll be presenting from Minnesota, but you can tune in from wherever you are. And we'll walk through all of the lectures and the hands-on labs and get you into the tool and learning in a safe environment so you can go in and practice. And it'll be a great time. So you can go to the Optagility's website to learn more about the details of that class. And we'll have information at the end if you're looking for maybe a discount. We've got some great things there too at the end of our presentation. Ashley will talk a little more about that. So our very first topic today is connections. Now connections is really easy because you don't really have to build anything. Connections is a great tool because CRM is really about data. That's the whole point of what we do. We want to have good data. And we hear that a lot. We know we want to have good quality leads. We're familiar with the old adage of garbage in, garbage out. But where CRM data really starts to sing is where we have our data connected to other data. So if you think about in the context of financial services, where I got my start in CRM, our contact records are related to a lot of other contact records. So you think of even just within a family, if you have contacts for grandparents and then their adult children and then their adult children's children or the grandchildren, maybe aunts and uncles and cousin relationships, all of a sudden you have quite a bit of data connected to other data. What's really exciting about connections is it's an easy thing for your team to use, and you're not using any code at all. And it's something that you can set up to link data and even use that in looking at through views. You can use automation tools like workflows to capitalize on those connections. It's a great way to provide context. I think good CRMs all have this spider web of context between all of the data, and connections are a fantastic tool for it. So it's something that I think every organization should know how to use. It's just sitting right there, and it's a great opportunity. Another great opportunity that I think some organizations don't get deep enough into is views. Once again, the value of our CRM is all found in the data and the ability to get to that data and make really good decisions based on the data. And so views are something that if you have CRM today, you're already seeing throughout the product. But there's so much more that you can teach your team to do. And so something that can be so valuable is empowering your teams, empowering your managers and your departments to personalize the views for what they need, to share those views. Maybe there's some that you find as a service in your organization you should be offering these standardized views for others. And views give us the ability to not only see the data, it lets us pick columns, what data should we have visible at any given time. But it's also giving us the ability to slice and dice data, take our biggest set. Let's say if we're looking at all of the contacts that we have, views are the easiest way to pare down to maybe just active contacts within a certain state, or leads that have actually hit the website in the last 6 months. So we think they're a little more active. Views are fantastic for that, and it can be a lot of untapped potential if you don't have your team really confident in utilizing views and saving views. Using them throughout their day-to-day life, it can be a missed opportunity. So that's something that we talk a lot about actually in both of the classes. And they're also a great way to get that data out of CRM. So something my teams have used a lot when they have permission to do so is to actually export this right into Excel. In finance, we're really kind of Excel junkies. We're very confident in Excel and very comfortable in digesting data in that way. And so the partnership of views and Excel has been really powerful. So that's something that we talk a lot. Expanding on that a little further, since we use views to search a fair amount, a new feature that is very exciting, and this is something, if you came from maybe 4.0 version of CRM or 2011, this is something you haven't seen yet. But I found that my new users to come on CRM since 2013 and beyond love this global search. And it's the first time we can allow someone to search for a particular concept, so maybe put in a name, and then see where that name pops up in accounts and contacts, leads, activities. What's really great about the global search is it's up to you to customize it. And so you know what it is that your users are searching for, what it is you want them to find quickly, and how they should be using maybe some custom entities that you have in your CRM, maybe custom data types or other unique information. So this is entirely configurable. I think this is something that just sits there for a lot of organizations. They don't set it up properly. They don't look and say, what are the 10 most important pieces of data my users could be searching for, and how do I put that in the palm of their hand? What are they specifically searching for when they're searching here? And it's actually very straightforward to set up. It's something that we do in the class, and I think this is an hour well spent, probably less than that, for you to have this in your organization up and running and really get users into CRM faster. I think a lot of times user adoption suffers simply because a user can't find what they're looking for. It exists in CRM and the user is in CRM looking for it, but if they can't find it, they'll get frustrated and they'll give up and they'll go look somewhere else, like in the file cabinet. And we don't want that. So global search is a great thing to capitalize on, especially if you're upgrading, because this is something I find users who go through upgrades, they really identify with this. This is something that they've wanted for a long time, and they instantly gravitate towards using it. We're very accustomed to open-ended searching in our world today, and this just speaks to them in a really positive way. Another area of untapped potential is charts. This is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen in earlier versions of CRM, but I think it's something a lot of organizations aren't taking to its full potential. And so charts are able to be used all throughout CRM. Anytime we're looking at data and digesting data, we can have it right here. Anytime we're looking at a view, and we can have it on a dashboard. I think people see it in those scenarios, but they don't know we can also have this right on a form. So for example, you might want a chart right on your account record, maybe looking at specific metrics, things that are important to you in measuring the success of that account, or maybe making sure it's on the right track in your process. And charts are really powerful for that. So in both classes, we go through setting up those charts and getting them to where you need to go. And we also talk about if you want to be a little more creative with your charts, we don't get too far into editing the charts, but talk at least how to get the code out if you'd like. If that's something that you'd like to play with. I spoke briefly, we have dashboards. This is something we've had since 2011, but they've really gotten so much more exciting. We have several areas of dashboards to play with now that are all unique. Now we have mobility, which is really cool. And as we'll talk about a little bit later today, the ability to set up our dashboards in one location and then utilize those across different platforms. We can actually see them, for example, on an iPad. without needing to reconfigure lots of things. So dashboards are really powerful, and this is something that I think you should have many, many people in your organization who know how to create a dashboard. This is a big turning point for me when I'm in an organization and I'm training their users. At the point that we have people in every department who can set up the dashboards that they need, we see user adoption really go up, because all of a sudden they see the point of what it is that they're doing. They're able to see those charts move and update. They're able to see their lists. They're able to pull data together in a way that makes their day better, which is really what we're trying to do all along, but that can be a hard point to get to in user adoption. So dashboards are really valuable and a great skill to make sure you get out, not just to your systems administrator, not just something you ask your partner for, but some knowledge that you pump through your organization. As you can see down here in the lowest corner, this is a style of dashboard you might not have seen before. And this is the Interactive Service Hub, which is a new app specifically geared at customer service teams. This comes with newest versions of the product, and it's really exciting. It gives us some really interesting tools and feature sets we haven't had before to play with, like the knowledge base is significantly upgraded. We have some really cool dashboards, as you can see here, interesting chart types we haven't had in the past. And we get into that in the course too, looking at not just dashboards in traditional CRM, but also when we get outside of CRM and we go next door to the Interactive Service Hub, how we can leverage our CRM data and then use those extra special tools that we have from Microsoft. That's something that I think you should have multiple people in your organization who really understand is the makeup of your entities and your fields and your records in CRM and how all of that information comes together. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, we want to make sure that there are several people who understand where the data is and how to get to it. This is really important for reporting because you want to make sure you're pulling quality reports. If you really understand where the data is in CRM and how to get to it, you can more intelligently pull really high quality reports. Another piece that we see is it's actually quite straightforward to create new entities and fields and record types. This is something that is pretty low-hanging fruit in customizing a CRM. It's pretty straightforward. It tends to be an early thing that new systems administrators learn how to do. And this can be really valuable. So what we found when I was a system admin, when I was working for a customer, what we found is that having that background knowledge, we had multiple people who understood the data model and how it all came together. We were able to make really good decisions when we needed a new field, for example, to hold values, or we needed an entirely new record type to hold some information. Because we knew what was possible and we knew how easy it was to do it, that shaped our ability. Instead of just saying, well, we're going to circumvent CRM here at this step in the process because CRM doesn't really do what we need it to, we were able to say, you know, I think that's just 3 more fields that we could add, or maybe we need to grow the relationship between these records in a better way. So that shaped our ability to have a more powerful CRM and even have more thoughtful meetings because we understood the way that the data worked. We understood the relationship types and how data was related to other data in CRM. This was valuable in searching, but it was also valuable when we got to automation and workflows, which was incredibly powerful for us, and valuable in just making those really good decisions in what is possible. Microsoft Dynamics is such an amazing suite, and it's so powerful, but you have to understand how powerful it is to really start to take advantage of it. We found it was like peeling an onion. Every layer we peeled back, we realized there was so much more there, and it's something that you learn as you go, as you get further and further into it. So that was a major turning point for us as we understood how everything was related together and how our data tied to our other data. That was really a springboard in how to take advantage of Dynamics in an even stronger way. Once you understand that and you're really leveraging the different relation types, there are some cool things that you can handle in Cascade Rules. And as we've said several times today, if our data is related to other data, then we can even have some automation around it. So Cascade Rules are great because it prevents things. For example, let's say within your sales organization, if you're moving an account and all the work with that account to a new sales rep, you can set up your Cascade Rules to automatically move, let's say, open appointments. So if If I've been managing an account and now Ashley's going to take that account over, I want to make sure Ashley gets everything she needs. So if we have our Cascade rules set up appropriately, we can actually move all the open tasks, all the open appointments, the contacts, everything that Ashley would need to be successful, we can just move automatically just by giving her the account if our Cascade rules are right. So there's some really interesting ways that we can maintain data integrity and prevent orphan records and dictate that record behavior in interesting ways. And it's actually really straightforward to do. You just have to know that it's there and know what the opportunities are. So if you're going to be going in and adding new record types and creating more relationships, this is important information to have. Now, Ashley, I just want to pause for a moment and see if you have any questions or if you had any questions from the audience before I roll on past.
Not at this time. I feel like we're doing good.
Great, wonderful. I'll keep going then. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt us. Another area that's really exciting, and this grows to be more and more exciting with every new release of CRM, is the various form types we have to work with now. This is part of the wonderful philosophy of where you create it and you can deploy it anywhere. So you customize once, deploy anywhere, and we really get to reuse our CRM data on many different platforms in different ways. So as you've probably noticed if you've been watching Dynamics for any period of time, our main forms on the web client have received quite a facelift a couple times. But now we also have even more interesting types. And this kind of depends on what we need the user to do with it. So if I want someone to interact with a record from a phone, I probably have a different way of approaching that. But if I'm looking for a customer service rep to very quickly enter just a handful of fields of new data when they're sitting at their computer. We also have some great ways of just projecting data from one place in CRM to another without duplicating it. And this is really exciting. We used to take great lengths to duplicate data all throughout CRM and keep it really consistent. Now we don't have to do that anymore, which is really great. So this is something I find if you've come from an earlier version of CRM and you're upgrading, this is an area you're going to want to revisit and make sure that you're really appropriately utilizing all of the different form types that you have to draw from, because there's really a lot of opportunity there. And if you haven't revisited all of your forms recently, you might be missing out. That's something that we go into, and even go into building these forms, customizing them, getting them to be what you need them to be. So field type sounds like it must be pretty boring, and I assure you that it's not. This is something that has gotten more complicated over time through our various versions, and now we have so much power in what we can do. And the reason for that is Microsoft has expanded for us beyond just simple fields, which is what we've had in earlier versions, just static, we just essentially do basic data entry into fields. And it wasn't very sophisticated. They were just a place to hold data. What's really exciting now is we have calculated and roll-up fields. So calculated field allows us to do a calculation, whether that's manipulating text. For example, if you had a specific way that you wanted to assemble first name, middle name, last name, a suffix, and maybe something else, all into one field in a specific order, a calculated field would be a good way to get that done. If you are calculating dates, for example, in one way, if a record meets certain business rules, but you would actually calculate the date in a different way if they met a different series of rules, calculated fields are fantastic for that. And then roll-up fields are incredibly exciting because it's something we've waited and begged for a long time. And that is the ability to interact with records below. So if you think about, for example, if you have several opportunities under one account, roll-up fields give the ability to do, not just do math on those records that are lying underneath, but also to just kind of roll up and even get simple counts. Or, for example, what was the last date of something? What was the most recent phone call that we've had with a certain contact? It's really exciting. It saves us quite a bit of time. And for CRM implementations that were really heavy on code before, these are really exciting tools because they allow you to do a significant amount of calculation and just work on your data to keep it really precise without needing any custom code at all, which is so much better for upgrade situations and saves you a lot of money in the long run. So these are really, really exciting. The organization that I first worked at, had a very strong rule against using custom code because we were small, we didn't have the budget for it, and we really wanted to make sure that our upgrades were simple. And the point that we were about to cave and go into the world of custom code was to get roll-up fields. And then we saw this on the roadmap from Microsoft, and we're so excited that we didn't have to break our rule and we could just wait a few more months and get roll-up fields. This is something that I've been using since it first came out, and it's really, really exciting for all different industries. So something that applies more to organizations that have a clear development cycle. Some organizations just customize in their live production environment, and that's one way to approach it. It's significantly easier to bump into users, to cause issues, to break things that are disruptive. And so what a lot of companies do is they have a development cycle. They make all their changes in a development environment, and then in many cases have a series of environments that they go through. So they might test, I have one environment where they're testing all of their integrations to make sure nothing has broken there. Another where they're staging everything, maybe doing some user acceptance testing before it goes live, and then bringing all those CRM changes into a live environment. So what's really great about CRM is we have solutions as a way of moving our customizations through all of these environments. And that's something that we talk about in the customization class, is the power of moving our solutions around and the tools that we have to work with that. So if you've been using solutions for a period of time, this probably sounds like old news. But what's really exciting as of CRM 2016 is we have some additional features for using solutions. We have the ability to create very, very small solution patches that maybe just have a couple quick fixes in them. They're not a gigantic solution move, and they're not a lot of work to move around. They're just a small little piece. So we're able to now move individual fields between environments where we couldn't do that before. We can get really, really specific in ways that we weren't allowed to in the past, and that's really exciting. So even if you've used solutions before, if you haven't gotten into these newest features of 2016, I encourage you to look at patches and clone solutions and these ways of segmenting because it can save you a lot of time and be much more efficient. So moving on to the data management areas of CRM is something that we also discuss in the class. We have some nice tools we want to keep data clean, we want to keep it visible, and one feature that we want for that visibility is auditing. So we talk about how to appropriately set up auditing in the organization. We don't want to audit everything because that can really take a hit to performance, but there are specific cases where we want to be really careful of being aware of when particular changes happen in the system. This is especially common in regulated industries or in key places in a process where you need to be able to look back and report on when data changed, when rules changed, when updates occurred or deletions, and see that retroactively. And so auditing is a great feature set for that. We also have an area that we've had for a while, but it's changed over time, and that is our duplicate detection considerations. So still have some ability to screen for duplicates, and it's important to know what our options are and where we run into limitations. It's not a perfect way of screening for duplicates. It does leave a little bit lacking, but it's important to know what's there and how to use it best, and when to know you're running out of kind of the end of where duplicate detection can help you here and where maybe you need to engage a third party. So we talk about that too and set up duplicate detection rules. Something I think it's really important to have at least one person in your organization who is both allowed to do this and knows how to do it is merging records. As we all know, we have duplicates and they happen. They happen over time for various reasons, and we do our best to screen them out. But at some point along the way, we're going to find records that we need to merge. And what's really fantastic about this tool is it allows to merge two records together without losing the history. So it's not just about transferring data over and making sure everything matches up. What we really need is to make sure if we have 3 years of history on an account, and we have all of these appointments and tasks and emails and all of these things for 2 accounts that are really actually the same company, when we go to merge, we're able to bring all of that together. And that is a great savings on data and on time. And so merging records allows us to do this. So I always like to have any organization I work with, I like to have at least one person appointed to do this. And they can be the gatekeeper and make sure that that rich history is saved and that we don't have duplicates lurking out there, that we're afraid to get rid of one because we have history or data there that we have to preserve. This lets us keep a clean CRM and not lose our history, which is really important. We also have bulk deletion, which is important from time to time. I mean, yes, we love data, and part of the point of what we're doing is to create a lot of data in CRM, get our users to put in a lot of data. But from time to time, we have things that we need to clear out, such as workflows. Workflows create a lot of system jobs for every time that they run. We don't need to keep those forever. So creating bulk deletion jobs helps keep your data set really clean and get rid of that extra stale data we don't need anymore. This is especially important if you're in CRM Online and you need to keep your data low. You don't want to be paying for a lot of data that isn't creating any value to your organization. So we talk about setting up these rules here as well. So that can just be a great way to keep things clean in an automated fashion. A feature that I really love and has been a great service to many organizations that I've worked in is the wizard for importing records. This gives you the ability to pipe more data into your CRM system. So in most cases, the world does not begin and end with our CRM. We have other systems in our organization that come together, and we need to bring all of that data into CRM so that we can make use of it. Maybe we need it for workflows, maybe we need it for reports, maybe it's valuable. We want to set it up in such a way that our users stop going elsewhere to find this information, like the correct phone number. We just need to have it all in the right place. Well, understanding this wizard for reporting, or wizard for importing, can save you a lot of time. And also, especially if you don't have like a SQL database admin or someone else who can bring data in another way, this is a great way to bring data in a supported fashion. And all you need is an Excel spreadsheet and a little bit of time to learn this tool, and it can be really powerful. So we had a lot of, we called them synthetic integrations in the first company that I worked in, where we would bring in, it was a way of almost integrating systems, but doing so very inexpensively. We're able to use this import tool to bring in outside data and bring in at the frequency we needed. If maybe the data in the other system was only updated once a month, well then we'd import it into CRM once a month. And I know of several organizations that have these kinds of processes. They actually run every day. They have morning data that gets released to them, and then they bring it into CRM through this tool. So a lot of value and potentially a lot of savings with knowing how to use this well. Something that's more on the fun side but can be really handy in branding is the new ability to use themes. So this lets us customize an environment with a look and feel a little bit more. So we get some control over the color scheme and how everything fits together. This can be a fun way to align your CRM system with the branding of your company. And like I really like the pink one here. If that's colors that you're using in your organization, you can update CRM to match that. So this one is more fun. I mean, it's not, it doesn't drastically change productivity or something else, but it is nice to have that ability to brand your CRM, customize it further, and capitalize on the ability to make the colors better fit your organization. The security is a really powerful area of CRM, and what I really like about it is that once you set it up right, it actually works all throughout your system. So a question that I get asked nearly every time I'm training users on views or dashboards or charts or something like that, when I get to the point where I'm teaching them about creating a view and then sharing it with others, their first concern is that they're going to accidentally give away data that they don't have permission to give away. Or they're concerned they wouldn't know that they were accidentally giving something away. Maybe they didn't realize something was protected because they could see it and they didn't realize that they shouldn't give it to their neighbor. And what's wonderful about the security model is it lets us really control things the way we need to. So we can get down to a field-specific level of protection. An example would be Social Security numbers. It's not uncommon for an organization to store Social Security numbers in their CRM system, but it would be uncommon for that number to just be publicly available to all the employees. Usually that data is protected for very good reasons. So in some cases, we would restrict down to a field level and say, you can see everything on this contract record, but you can't see the Social Security number unless you are the HR rep or somebody else. We can also restrict just bigger groups of records. This is commonly used if you think of maybe a salesperson who can only see data within their own territory, or maybe even whole areas together. Maybe your salespeople can only see sales records. Maybe they shouldn't see anything to do with customer service. Maybe they shouldn't see anything to do with shipping and receiving or something else. So understanding that security model can be really important, and understanding how it's grown and changed over time is just as important. Security continues to get more complex as there's more and more that CRM can do. There's more and more that is expected of the security. So it's important, especially for recently upgrading, to take that time to learn how it's changed and what you can leverage now, because there are so many great tools that have advanced in the security. Really make sure that you're setting it up properly. Part of this in the security module of this class, we really get into some of the more confusing areas of security and cleaning that up. For example, the word access is really common throughout CRM. So we have access levels, which are used within roles, and that defines how far can I see? Can I only see my stuff, or can I see my team's stuff, or can I see things all throughout the organization? And then we actually have access rights, which sounds similar, but it's not. And then access teams, usually by the time they someone is learning about access teams, that's the point that they throw in the towel and they get really overwhelmed. So we take the time to make sure we really talk about all the complexity of security and get you all the way through to make sure you're comfortable and confident there. A new area that can be really wonderful if you're upgrading, you haven't seen this before, or you haven't utilized this yet, a new implementation of CRM, is a security hierarchy. And this is really great for two different styles of organizations. One is if you have an organization that has a really clear management structure. So your departments all have leadership, and they should have a defined role within CRM to see the data of everyone that they're managing, but they should see the data that other managers are managing. There's a security model that works really well for that. There's also an alternate security model through security hierarchy that works really well if people are maybe not so quite clear-cut in the this manager has these exact 4 employees and it's very strict, but it's a little more of a creative structure maybe in who should be able to see what. So we have a lot of options in security hierarchy, and we get into that as well. So now I'm going to switch gears and talk about some of these more automation-based concepts and process-driven. And this is the area of CRM that gets me so excited. This is where I think an organization of any size can really benefit from taking advantage of these tools. If you use them the way that they're built, instead of using custom code, you can save a significant amount of money over time because your upgrades will work. You're not going to spend a lot of time rewriting code, spend a lot of time fixing things and retesting and fixing breakages. There's just a lot of great tools. And one that's especially exciting and keeps growing over time are business rules. So in previous versions of CRM, if we wanted to really interact with the form at all, maybe we needed to selectively require a field. So if another field had data, then its partner field needed to be required. Or maybe we wanted to hide things on the form, or maybe we wanted to show them, or maybe certain fields should be locked until a certain stage of the process. Maybe I don't want you filling in certain sales fields on an opportunity until you've reached a point that it's appropriate to have that information. Business rules let us do that, and they do it in a really friendly designer, as you can see here on the screen, that's really designed for that business user. So not necessarily for someone technical, but for someone who understands the process. And this whole area of CRM really is designed with that type of user in mind. And it's very powerful because it lets us interact with the user in a better way, lets us up user adoption, hopefully, and really tailor CRM to fit our exact organization and how we do business. This is really the point at the end of the day. We want CRM to support how you do business, not change it in a bad way, but support it and empower it. And business rules are an incredibly cost-effective way to do that. So we spend time in this class working on business rules and how to use them for different techniques to interact with your user and interact with the data and what's on the page. Another one that's really common in sales scenarios, but actually we use it in all different instances of CRM, are business process flows. And this guides the user. This is saying, this is the information that I need you to get first, or these are maybe the tasks I want you to complete, such as identify the decision maker in a sales process. We get some of these just by having CRM. Microsoft has set up a few nice ones for us. There's a lot that we can do in branching this logic. If we need, for example, our salespeople to start on a lead and find their way all the way through from a lead into an opportunity and other records down the line, we have a lot of ability to affect the way their process goes and give them a little bit more of a guided experience. Show them what we expect from them at that moment. So business process flows can be exciting for that because we're cleaning up the process and making it much more clear. We can also gate the process if we need to. So let's say you have a rule that until you've gotten the estimated budget and identified the decision maker, you shouldn't even move on past a certain stage in your sales process. You should be stuck there until you find that information. We can actually put a roadblock up and say, nope, you've got to go get that. And that can help gate your process and make it a little more controlled. If you're having a hard time enforcing your process, business process flows can be a great tool for that. Now, my very favorite thing about all of CRM has always been workflows. I love workflows. And workflows are really exciting. We start to get into them in this class, but really I think there's it's kind of a lifetime of learning of what you can do with them. Workflows are the automation backbone of CRM. At least that's how I see it. It's the ability to interact with data and cause things to happen. So if you have tasks that need to be created when maybe something in particular happens to your data, or calculations to be done, you want to check for something, this can be really helpful in even just watching for certain scenarios that shouldn't be allowed to happen and alerting the appropriate person when that scenario that would be bad in your business happens. They can be really great watchdogs. They don't take sick days. They're on the case all the time, and they can be watching for those outliers for you, and also doing really positive things for your user and bringing a lot of data and information together. I love workflows. I think they're incredibly valuable at all sizes of business that use CRM. I particularly think that small business just can't afford to live without them, because in small to mid-sized businesses, we're always working with less resources than we really truly need to get the job done. And workflows give you the ability to expand on your capabilities and expand on resources. Make sure that your humans aren't doing grunt work that a computer could do. And this is where I've gotten a lot of buy-in from users in the past. I'm able to give them back 2-3 hours in their day to do things that they actually love to do in their job and not just mundane work. We're more efficient and users are more excited because then they're doing more exciting things in their job. As we've discussed a little bit, we have opportunities for configuring once and deploying everywhere. And this is the opportunity to do work in CRM and really take advantage of it on the mobile app. So you've probably heard we have mobile apps available to us. They just come with the licenses. So we can use those, get to CRM on phones and tablets. This is really, really great for mobile workforces. And what's really fantastic as the person configuring CRM is that you don't need to go through and write a mobile app from scratch. You don't even need to reconfigure things. It's more pushing the work you've already done to tailor your CRM, just making that available in a mobile way. And that saves you a significant amount of time. So the things that I've talked about so far are all covered in the customization and configuration class that is coming up on December 12th through the 14th. I want to dabble a little bit in the Getting Started class. And this is another class that we do offer both on demand and in an instructor-led format. We don't have a Getting Started class on the calendar in December, but it is still being offered on demand. So if you go to the Appsagility website, you can find out more about taking that class on your own time. All of the lectures are recorded, all of the hands-on labs are there, and so you can take it at your own pace and can always reach out and end up taking the class in person if you feel like you'd rather have more interaction and more group time. But I want to just steal a couple concepts from this class because I think they really fit the tone of what we're talking about today and how you can really capitalize on the value of CRM by learning these really accessible concepts. So I'm going to take a couple tools out of that class as well. One is word templates, which is really exciting. So this doesn't replace mail merge. CRM still does mail merge, and mail merge still has its place for organizations that use CRM. But word templates are really exciting because it gives a really simple way for users to generate a Word document with CRM data on it. It is really intelligent in the way that it leverages that relationship model, and it's incredibly easy for the user to do. Just very simple, a couple of clicks and they're there. And so this is great for all different areas of your CRM, whether that's just a customized letter that the user should send that has maybe data from a contract record or something else. If you need to include CRM details for reports, maybe something to print and bring into a meeting, this is really putting that CRM data in the hands of your users in a valuable way. And what I found is the more I'm able to reward users for putting data in CRM, the easier it is to have them actually get the data in CRM. If they see what's in it for them, they're more willing to engage. And this is a great area where they're able to see what's in it for them by having good quality data in there. Excel templates is very similar, and that gives us the ability to build out a beautiful Excel template for our users. They don't have to know how to customize CRM. This is really exciting, especially if you have someone in your organization who really loves Excel and they're very good at it. Maybe they love pivot tables and they're very good at creating meaningful ways of displaying information. They can create these Excel templates for the benefit of your whole team. So someone who is not very good at Excel but can at least export out to Excel then can be equipped to walk into a meeting and have the data that they need, which is very exciting. Something that we cover in the Getting Started class is the sales area of CRM. And something that can be leveraged here is the product catalog. We have the ability to go all the way from a lead all the way through to sending an invoice and marking that as paid. All of those individual steps can be managed in CRM, and we do even have a product catalog feature set that we can use. It's a little bit complicated to use the product catalog, but can be really valuable. And so we walk through everything you need to know on setting that up. And this is something, if you're planning to take that sales exam, you're going to want to make sure that you've spent some time in the product catalog and learning about how to set it up properly. Some features of it are not quite as intuitive, but once you've gotten in there, they make a lot more sense and create a lot of value. So that's something else that we cover in this class, is setting up that whole sales area so it really works together really well. And we have all of the features. So in an opportunity, you can actually select from the right products and include the right price points. Put that into a quote that actually has, you can actually look back and see everything that went into a quote and move that forward into an invoice. There's some really exciting things we can do with that product catalog included. And the last feature set that I want to make sure we cover is the power of goals. And this is something that's more in the reporting side of the house. This gives us the ability to roll up those numbers and look cumulatively at our data. So whether that's in the traditional sales area that you think about, whether that's just calculating the amount of revenue, maybe those standard sales metrics that you pull of productivity numbers or revenue generated. We also can use it in marketing and in service and even other unique areas of CRM that maybe don't fit one of these three areas. Goals are another powerful area of CRM, a little bit complicated on the front end. They can be a little intimidating if you just go in to dabble, but something that we dig into to get you set up in the way that you need to really do well in that area. So Ashley, that's all that I have on those topics from the class. We cover a lot more in the class, but we only had so much time today. So I hope to see you in that class on December 12th. And hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Well, real quickly, Britta, would you mind just kind of talking about what changes you kind of see coming up in the next couple months and for CRM and how that would affect any training and all that?
Yes, absolutely. So you've probably heard a lot of chatter about the release of Dynamics 365, which is really exciting. Dynamics 365, or CRM, is not going away. CRM, the platform that we know and love as CRM today, is still here. But what's really nice is Microsoft is segmenting it into more useful applications. So if you only need CRM for sales, you can pay specifically for the sales area of CRM. If at some point down the road you learn that you need to use it for service as well, you always have the ability to add that on. And then what's really exciting is the way that the platform is being built. If you're using, for example, what is currently today Dynamics AX, which will be Dynamics for Operations, that will feed directly into the same data tables as your CRM. So it'll be very easy to hook all of your CRM together. So this class looks at both the CRM on-premise, which is where you install CRM on your own company servers, or maybe a partner hosts it for you. And we talk through any scenarios where there's inconsistency between what's available on-premise and what's available online in the class. And then so there are some exciting things to come in CRM. Luckily, at this point, we're not losing what we already love about CRM. So I'm happy to say, Ashley, that our class still holds up, even with the name changing slightly. And there will be more exciting features to come for Microsoft Dynamics for sales and for marketing and for service. So stay tuned for that. But I definitely encourage people to still stay learning, get in there and make the most of your CRM. Don't let these new changes scare you off.
Thank you so much, Britta. Awesome. Well, thank you all for attending our webinar. Again, if you have any more questions, you can always email us down here at the bottom of the slide at info@opsagility.com. Britta did mention that there possibly is an opportunity for 25% off her upcoming December 12th webinar. That's going to be covering all these principles and concepts in depth. So do contact us and we will be able to provide you some kind of discount code. And you can also try Opsagility, our on-demand training, 30 days for free. So go ahead and use all caps, try Opsagility promo code. That's TRYOPSGILITY and at www.opsagility.com. And we, again, offer many different types of courses. If you're interested in something in addition to CRM, you can do anything from cloud developers to architects to any kind of different things for Azure. So do come check out our website, and we will be doing another webinar next month. So stay tuned, and you can follow on our website our upcoming schedule. So definitely go on and enroll for Britta's class. Thank you so much, Britta, for coming and for presenting for us today. We appreciate all your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you all. You have a good day.